Hi, it's David in the glass studio. I'm working on replacing a broken piece of glass in this window. Now, what I wanted to do was show you the soldering technique, but before I talk about that, I want to first of all explain some of the things that are going on with this window. You'll see that this is a leaded glass window. This is put together with lead. The entire piece is puttied into this framework. Now, if we were to do this the proper way, the repair would be very costly. And the person who owns this doesn't want to spend that much money on doing it the proper way. So what we're doing is just replacing one piece of glass. So the first thing I did before taking the piece of glass out was I taped it up so that it wouldn't fall apart and that we would be able to use it as a pattern when we got the piece of glass out and we were ready to do it. Now I'm going to pull this piece, the replacement piece out. Okay, here's the replacement piece. Now what I've done, I went ahead and I used very sharp lead nippers to cut away the lead in this part of the glass. And I'll show you pictures of that on this video so that you can kind of understand what's going on. But now the thing that needs to be done next is I need to get this piece back in. Now, one of the things that has occurred to me as I'm doing it, you'll see I've got this big long piece of lead, and on this one the lead was so deformed that I clipped it off. See, the pieces of lead are gone. And I'm going to do the same thing to this side because I believe that it's too long and it'll get deformed. It won't stay in place. And so I'm just going to clip this off. And then both sides will have to be repaired with a piece of copper foil. Now, now I was going to just put a single piece along here, but instead, since I've got this opening where I need to repair it, I'm going to actually foil this piece, and I'm going to foil these edges as well. So it's easy to do this step. What you do first of all, what I'm doing here, I'm taking 1/4 inch foil and I'm going around the replacement piece of glass to foil it just like you foil any piece when you're working on a regular copper foil construction. And so I just simply apply the 1/4 inch foil to each side and tape it on in place. Okay, now that it's done, I just simply burnish it over with my fingers, push the foil down, and now I can take the pieces of foil and place them on the edge pieces where I cut that lead off. Now what I do, I found that if I will just line it up and place it right directly on top of the piece of glass, then I'm able to run my fingers across and have it stay in place. Then once it's in place, then I can push it down over the edge of the glass and then push it up underneath so that it's completely foiled. Here, let me show you again. I tear it to length, get the copper ready to go in place, You have to be careful to get it stuck down, or as you see here, it can just pop off. So stick it down to the piece of glass, run your fingers along. Now I just use a thumbnail to hold the copper foil in place and then just tear the excess off. And that makes easy work of getting that copper foil in place. Okay, now that I've got the copper foil in place, I can take the replacement piece of glass, and the first thing I do is set it on top of that one piece of lead that hasn't been removed. Several of them had to be removed in order to get the old piece of glass out, but one piece was able to stay in place. Several pieces are in place down below. So now I put the replacement piece into the hole, and it's a little bit tight, so I take a screwdriver and I just put a little tiny bit of pressure by twisting it, and that helps me to be able to ease it over. Now I got to be really careful because I don't want to hurt my glass. I don't want to chip it, but it's a really good tool. Helps me to see, I can just put it in there and just twist it just slightly, and that puts just enough pressure for me to be able to move the glass over, something that I can't do just with fingers. Okay, now it's in pretty good, and I can tell I've got a bit of a gap. I wish I didn't have that gap, but it's just a piece of lead is holding it out, and I can't quite get it in any tighter than that. So now I can take my copper foil, and this is a thinner piece. This is not the 1/4 inch. This is thinner, and it'll just go right over the other copper foil and seal it up. And I'm just going to go right around. See how slick that is? It just fills the gap, and this will leave the glass just completely ready for the soldering step. On the next video, I'll show you how we go about soldering the window. But right here you can see this is quite easy to seal everything up, and you know, the glass now, it's stuck in place. It won't fall out of there for any reason. I mean, I could walk away from this and it would stay in place just the way I want it. This has been David in the Glass Studio. I hope you find that this video has been helpful, and I hope to see you on the next one.